Hey guys, how's it going? So today I have a new AK to show you. And this is actually a recent offering from Palmetto State Armory, and one that I'm quite excited about. So this is the model PSAK GF3-R. -R meaning Romanian, and I'm going to tell you all about that. So we have a PSA built AK, AKM. If you guys will look at this here. And I just bought this. These have only been available for a little while. So I'd like to thank all of you who help support the channel to make this purchase possible. And there are links down in the description to help the channel. So thank you all. Now, as a lot of you probably already know, Palmetto has been making AKs for quite a while. Made in the USA. Now, I've been into AKs for a long time. And most of the AKs I have are ComBlock made. I'm not necessarily opposed to buying a 100% made in the US AK, but the ComBlock stuff has just always kind of interested me a little more. So when I saw that they come out with this new Romanian model, which is actually going to be a hybrid of original Romanian parts, this was built from a Romanian PM Model 63 kit, I got really interested. So we're going to go through here and take a look, and I'm going to go through kind of just an initial overview, review, my first impressions. Now also I'm going to be providing some bonus footage on this rifle, some stuff that I'm not going to be able to show on YouTube, so check out the link down in the description for my locals community, and there'll be more on this rifle and a bunch of other great bonus content that's already there. So again, the new model here, this is the GF3-R. They have a couple different variations of this, but basically this is Palmetto State Armory building AKs here in the US off an original Romanian parts kit, where the original rifle had to be cut up, obviously. Some parts must be discarded because they just can't be transferred to most normal people like you and me in the United States, unfortunately. And then there's also going to be some brand new made in the USA Palmetto parts. So this is obviously being an AKM chambered in 7.62 by 39. This particular model features a 16-inch 4150 barrel, nitrided. The receiver is going to be made in the United States, and as we're going to see here, obviously with two trigger pins, but I would note that it does have the XY stampings, which are very nice. And while we're here, you can see this does include a side rail, so that's a nice feature to have for sure. So when you get these, they're saying that they're going to guarantee that at least 4 parts are going to match, which was awesome. That's one of the main reasons why I bought this, and that is going to include the trunnion, which I'll show you the markings on that in 1 second. It's also going to include the top cover here, and then our bolt carrier and our bolt, which we're not going to see the numbers on, but in the other video I'm going to do on locals, we actually are going to take this down and show that for you. So let me get this little shipping plug here and this chamber flag out of here. And I really want to walk you guys through this rifle, because some of you are probably familiar with old parts kits builds. Some of you that have been in this for a long time might remember the pre-89 pre-band rifles that were brought in semi-auto, of course, but with all of the original parts from country of origin. And then some of you might just be getting into the AK, or maybe you're kind of newer to it and only familiar with USA built guns. So let's take a look at the overall fit and finish of this rifle real quick, and I'll walk you guys through the whole thing. So we're going to start off here. We can see really nice wood. The grip is in great shape all the way up to the front, and yes, this does feature the so-called dong handguard. That's what they call it. And the whole finish is really, really nice. Let's just go from the beginning here. The muzzling, I'm just going to kind of slowly walk it through here, just so you guys can see how consistent the black is all the way down. We'll take a look at this side here. Beautiful laminate wood handguard there. I love that for sure. Okay, so they guarantee that 4 parts are going to match, and if you get really lucky, and apparently I did with this rifle, you might even get a matching handguard. And in this case, the handguard here bears the same number as the trunnion. So let's take a look at this trunnion while we're right here. We're going to see a triangle with kind of an upward pointing arrow. That's going to be the Cougar, however you want to pronounce it, arsenal in Romania. This was a military arsenal since around 1963, and they're still manufacturing rifles there currently. Like if you bought a Wasa rifle, those are still made there today. This one bearing a date of 1986 on the trunnion. So what do we have here? Well, like I said, it's a combination of surplus parts and made in the USA. So surplus parts here are going to include the furniture. So we're going to see a laminate wood stock. I suspect, and I don't know this for sure, that this may have been refinished because I really don't see any nicks or scratches. And usually when these kits come in the country, especially from Romania, if anyone's ever bought a Romanian parts kit, you know what I'm talking about. They're usually really dirty, grungy, nicked up, but hey, they did a really nice job with this clear shellac. It looks very Comblock-ish and looks very nice. Now this is a laminate wood stock, so kind of sort of like a plywood if you think about it. And you can see all the different lines there. These are plies or layers of wood, and what that results in is actually a stock that's going to be stronger overall than solid hardwood, more moisture resistant and things like that. And these Romanian laminate stocks are really, really nice. So we're going to look at the laminate stock there. Let's go here to the grip. This is that red Romanian bakelite. That's awesome with just a nice little checker pattern there. So we got the bakelite right here. Shout out to all the bakelite fans out there. I'm definitely a fan myself. Upper wood handguard. And then the lower handguard that has this integral grip. Same thing here. You can see the cross section there. Made out of the same type of laminate wood. So those are all surplus parts. We're also going to have the top cover, surplus. The bolt and carrier are original Romanian. Again, military surplus. So this is awesome because these are going to be cold hammer forged parts, which is definitely something that I really prefer. Same thing with our trunnion here. This is going to be a forged part made in Romania. Same thing with our base here, our rear base, with the leaf, which starts off with the letter P, that's your 0 mark, and it goes all the way up to 1,000 meters, graduated up in 100-meter intervals. So that's all going to be original Romanian. Same thing with our gas tube, which is underneath our handguard here. Same thing with our gas block. This does have the bayonet lug, which is awesome. Same thing with the front tower. That's also going to be Romanian. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I could go 50-50 on this. I think the muzzle device might be American, but with no markings on it, it could very well be original Romanian Comblock as well. And I almost forgot to tell you, this slant brake, otherwise known as the sugar scoop brake, is connected onto the barrel with a 14x1 left-hand thread, and it has the standard plunger detent right there. Now let's get this out of the way right now. No, it does not have a cleaning rod. And I like to have a cleaning rod with my AKs, and it doesn't look quite right without it. But in full disclosure, in the listing they tell you this model's not going to come with a cleaning rod. Now you can get brand new cleaning rods from Poland for pretty darn cheap from multiple places. So not the end of the world for me. And I have a couple laying around. I'm going to put one in probably after this video. I just wanted to show you without it because it does not come with. So we're going to see here on the left side, our front handguard retainer is going to have a loop there to attach your sling to, followed by our rear sling connection here, screwed in on the bottom of the buttstock. The stock does have the original metal butt plate with the trap door. This one did not include a cleaning kit, but again, those are kind of easy to get. They're the kind of capsule style that basically look a lot like the same ones for the SKS. So a lot of you are probably familiar with those as well. Our selector is going to be original. So we basically have an American barrel. There's several barrel options and a couple different versions of these Romanian PSA AKs, but this particular one happens to be the 4150 nitrided, American-made receiver. And we're also going to have a USA-made trigger group, and this trigger is also made by Palmetto. They actually have that as well, available separately, which I'll show you guys the trigger in just a second. It's actually pretty cool. Now, they did a thing on here that's pretty nice, but I'll make one little correction while I'm here. So if you look, we can see a couple different selector indentations there, right? The upper position being safe, that's your safety right there. If it was swiped all the way down to the bottom, it would be in semi-auto. And if this was in its original configuration, up one to this middle position would have been automatic. This being a semi-auto, it's going to function semi in this position or in the bottom. So either way, this is basically just there for looks to make it look a little more authentic. Now, this is me kind of being a stickler, but I'll just make a quick note of it. PSA put selector markings letters here, which is pretty cool, and I like it when they put the letters on that correlate with the country of origin. But this being a Romanian PM model 63 parts kit build, Romania didn't use SAF, which is what's on here. And they actually used S for the top, FA for the middle, and FF for the bottom. Now, I looked in my Kalashnikov Encyclopedia, my Grim Reaper book, and I did see an obscure marking that was SAR for Romanians that were exported, but I've not seen this SAF anywhere, so nothing I'm going to call the rifle on, but technically this should have an S, an FA, and an FF if it was the correct Romanian markings here, but not a big deal. So overall, right now, this kit is in like really good condition. I'm really happy with the way this whole rifle's finished. The light just doesn't 100% do it justice, but you can see it's pretty darn consistent all the way through. Now this bolt carrier, it's the same exact color, just a slightly different sheen, because Romania would blue these bolt carriers, and that actually appears to be original finish and in excellent condition, and you guys can kind of see it in the light right there. Besides the sheen being a little bit different, I'm not complaining. I'm actually complimenting how awesome this whole rifle is put together, all of it. One more little thing I noticed on this one, and these are built from Milsurp kits, so the condition's going to vary. There could be scratches, dings in some of the wood, things like that. We're going to notice a little space here, okay, a little gap. Now this is secured with one screw here and one more that we can't see. These laminate stocks are tough. It's not going to cause any problems. I'm not too worried about it, but I do know how to fix this. And if I decide I want to close up that, it's no more than an 1/8 inch little gap there, I will later. It's not really a gap because the wood is still protruding all the way in to the rear portion of the receiver, but just a little thing. I know some of you guys will notice it, so I'm just mentioning I can fix this pretty darn easy, but nothing that's going to affect the functionality whatsoever. Let's take a look at the build. With this being a stamped sheet metal receiver, we're obviously going to have the receiver riveted to the front and rear trunnion. So let's take a look at those rivets there. We're going to see the two rear rivets. There we go. Which are formed very nice. No deformation, no weird indentations in them, nothing like that. It's kind of casting a little bit of a shadow on that one rear rivet, but trust me, in real life, it's perfect dome shape. All right, we can come over here. Again, excellent rivets. Front trunnion. This is kind of the most important part of these rifles. The trunnion is where the barrel is pressed and pinned. We can see our pin right there. So that holds the barrel. The action is slamming up against and locking in with the rotating bolt design into that trunnion. So these rivets are always going to be real important. And yeah, the dome is excellent. I see no indentations on the sheet metal. Look at that. That's a good angle right there. Sometimes you'll see when up on a poorly riveted AKM, you'll see where either the rivet isn't sitting completely flush with the receiver, or you'll see it where it's kind of the rivet smushed down. It looks like some of it's kind of oozing out to the side from where they crimped it way too hard, crushed it way too hard, and you'll see an indentation in the sheet metal receiver. I see none of that here, so really nice job on the riveting work, the finish work, all of that looks great. And this is a 1mm stamped sheet metal receiver built off of Kalashnikov's AKM pattern. In fact, Romania started making these in the early 60s off of Russian tooling, much like most of the complex with Russian advisors. We've even seen some of the original barreled, you know, obviously this has a new barrel, import laws have changed over the years, but I've seen some original barreled kits that have come in the country from these Romanian PM Model 63s that actually had Russian proof marks on the barrels, showing that they started off production with actual Russian barrels. So this is going to be a very close representative. Besides the Dong handguard, that was definitely unique to Romania, but this is a very close clone of actual Russian AKM. Arguably about as close as you can get, really. You can see the dimples for the gusseting there of the magazine well area of the receiver. Now this shipped with a PMAG 20, okay? So real quick, let's just take a look at our mag catch, mag release there, the traditional AK paddle. Mag rocks right out, locks in place perfectly. So this PMAG fits like nothing. Now some of you are gonna ask, so here's an original Romanian milsurp. It's always like 100 times easier when you're not on camera, trying to make it focus and put it in there. But yeah, no problem at all. You can't just, you kind of have to watch what you're doing with this handguard, but you can very easily fit an original surplus mag right in there. So there you guys go. All right, let's check out the action on it real quick. And like I said, more content on this exact rifle on locals, and then I'm going to do some follow-ups definitely here on YouTube too. The action is very nice. I mean, it's an AK. You obviously want it to have a little bit of a kerplunk, kerplunk noise. That's just how these guns work. A little bit looser tolerances than some rifles, but that's actually why these run in adverse conditions. You should always maintain yours, but I get it. Sometimes you can't. Lack of maintenance. These things have been proven due to these little bit looser tolerances to be quite the durable rifles, especially in really bad conditions. So I'm very happy with the action on this. Very nice. Now let's check out this trigger. Oh, by the way, I can get this out of my way. It's just a little touch, you know, but pretty cool. Geez, Palmetto used a nice bag. So we just have a little like certificate here, inspected by, inspired in Russia, made in the USA. So whoever inspected this before it left the door here at Palmetto, they signed that. So that's cool that each of these rifles were hand inspected. We know that in some cases, unfortunately, some AKs that come in from not Palmetto but from other places must be batch tested, because sometimes they're missing parts and other things that I've seen happen firsthand. But this one was hand signed by somebody that my rifle was inspected, and I believe them because everything else seems to be there. All right, let's take a look at this trigger. And this is my first experience with this trigger. I did pull it like once or twice when I took it out of the box. I just couldn't help myself, but this is the first rifle that I've ever had with this PSA trigger. And yeah, this trigger is awesome, guys. The reset, very, very sharp, crisp reset. Not like in a bad trigger slap kind of way, but like the spring's very powerful and just pushes my finger forward. And I can already tell, even though I've not got to fire this exact rifle yet, this is going to have pretty fast follow-up shots. So let's go ahead here where you guys can kind of see. All right, I'm going to try to see if I can experience any stacking squishiness. Just remember, this is not a championship competition grade 1911. This is a Kalashnikov variant, but let's see if you guys can tell here. Okay, I'm really not able to budge it, like just a teeny bit, and it instantly breaks. So there really is no take up, really is no creep, and it's actually a pretty sharp, crisp break. All right, I'm gonna keep my finger down. Let's see if you guys can see this reset. Do you hear that? Like, wow. I'm going to do it again. Right by the microphone. Yeah. Really, really impressed with this trigger. It has a traditional bow. The shape of the shoe is quite comfortable. Feels just like a regular AK trigger. Nice. The rivets look good down here on the trigger guard. I would note the tension of these can be adjusted, but I would note right out of the box, the tension of the selector is awesome. Some of you guys like to come across the top. Look, there's a million ways to run these firearms. I'm not a tactical operator, so you do it how you want, but some guys will come up here with their forefinger and just want to move that selector up, and it's just the right amount of tension, guys. I'm operating it with one hand, with one finger rather, right here. These selector spots are just for looks. One more time, the bottom and middle selector, stop there. Those are both just going to fire one shot per pull of the trigger. This is a semi-automatic rifle. Now I'm up here in the safe position, which is going to prevent me from being able to fully charge the rifle. It's also going to lock up the trigger. We're going to swipe down to fire. Now we can move freely again. I'll pull that one more time for you. Wow. This trigger is nice. So, here's the deal. First time I've bought an AK, one of these modern AKs rather. It's not the first time I bought an AK. I just kind of got in a trance looking at that matching number on the front handguard. I got really lucky. That's not guaranteed to happen, but hey, I get so much bad luck with a lot of guns I buy from other places. I'll take the luck this time. Anyways, it's the first time I've bought one of these modern builds from Palmetto, and this is actually really what I wanted. This is a hybrid between new manufacturing techniques, because we can't get the original ones anymore. It's just the way it works. But with enough original parts from Romania, where the gun still has the look that I really like. I really like the traditional wood look. Love the Bakelite. Let me know down in the comments who else likes Bakelite. And on that locals video that I'm going to do as a follow-up, I'm going to show you something else Bakelite. If you know what I'm saying. That's your little hint. I'm just going to point to that little piece on the gas block. The Dong handguard is just a classic. That's just a classic Romanian look. The overall fit and finish of this, wow. Really, really nicely done. You can tell that the finishing was done on all the metal after it was completely assembled, because there's none missing anywhere. Not on the rivet heads. Nothing like that. All of the parts from the kit appear to be very functional. Very nice. And I'll show you guys this before we head on out, because I think I'm already getting ready to want to do some more videos on this rifle, including at the range very soon. There we go. We see Palmetto's logo. This is their receiver. There we go. The light got it there. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's kind of a cool hybrid between a new USA built gun, and I love it, by the way, that there's people being employed in the United States to build these and put them together. That's like totally awesome. Love supporting American businesses, right? We also have the customer service and warranty and all that from Palmetto, which is awesome. Okay. Never really had to deal with their warranty service before, but from what I've heard from so many of you, great company when it comes to that. But I still get the nostalgia, more of the AK purist experience, and just the old-fashioned retro wood and Bakelite look of the Romanian parts. And that's why I'm definitely really happy that I got this new PSA AK GF3-R, meaning Romanian. So I definitely am looking forward to coming back and talking more to you guys about this rifle. So let me know down in the comments what you all think. And while this is uploading to YouTube, I'm going to record my locals video, so that'll be ready for you all by the time you see this. Yeah, it's really pretty. Really like this rifle quite a bit. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one.